So, John, I'm curious. What inspired you to write the last 9 seconds, and then by as a connection here, or as a byproduct, I guess. How did your background as a goalkeeper influence your perspective?
Yeah, so as a goalkeeper at university there, I was also coaching. I started coaching quite young. So every time I'd be in training and teaching our strikers how to score, it was pretty simple because I knew my weaknesses and knew what a goalie could and couldn't do. So over you know 4, 5, 6 years, my strikers were very good at scoring. One won the title for top scorer, which got him a tryout with the Toronto Blizzard of the old North American Soccer League, and he actually got called up very quickly. Um, the reserve team at the time, he scored like 5 goals in 3 games, and next thing you know, he's training with the first team. They couldn't play because they had to be officially drafted. So that winter, it was 84, he was going to be the first round draft choice of the Toronto Blizzard. Unfortunately, the league folded that winter. Um, so that kid ended up trying out for the Cleveland Force, and then he got injured. Um, so that was disappointing. That was a depressing moment for I think any young player trying to play pro soccer. It wasn't as easy as it is now to go to Europe because they had a restriction on import. And but then it was I guess a few years later when our national team, Canada, got to the final six, and the top three get to the World Cup. And I thought we had a decent team, but as I'm watching players miss scoring chances, of course we did not qualify. I was so upset. I think it was for the '98 World Cup that we didn't qualify and we had a good chance, but mostly because I think we missed simple scoring chances, bad decisions. And I said, man, there's got to be a better way to teach goal scoring. Um, because I'm a keeper, I know what it takes to score on me. So I started experimenting with different things with my son and some of the teams I was with at the time. Different things that because from a goalkeeper's perspective, you get a player who can kick, pass, shoot, got all the skills, head. Um, why are they missing obvious chances? Why are they not taking chance? What's going on in the brain of the player? I mean, we can all watch highlights and after the fact say, "Oh yeah, he should have shot or he should have aimed here or whatever," but um, they'd make bad decisions the last second. And I saw this as a keeper. So many times I'd be sitting there praying that they don't shoot or they hit me or miss the net, and they would completely mess up, and I kind of go, oh, thank God, you know, they didn't score because they would have scored if they had done the right thing. As I studied this, and also, I took phys ed and sports psychology and all that, and I started blend everything together, try different things. Also, there's a course I took. It's called Percept. Um, my professor was Dr. Ian Howard, who actually worked for NASA. And I guess he looked at uh, working in non-gravity perception, what you see, your eyes get fooled quite often, your brain gets fooled. And so that's the kind of stuff that got me thinking, there might be a better way I can help a player who's in a scoring position make a better decision. And as I experimented on that, I found that there's a lot of things that I could do that work better. Also using biomechanics, reading motion of your nearest defenders, the goalkeeper, all that stuff. And then I put it to test, found that oh my gosh, it's working. So I stopped running courses that I kind of developed to write the book. Um, that's kind of how it all started.
And share with my audience the concept or the core concept of the last 9 seconds. Why the last 9 seconds?
Well, basically, it's less than 9 seconds. Sometimes it's those last 1 or 2 seconds in your last touch, the very last touch. I wanted to focus on, that last touch that puts the ball in the net. And then, there's a bit of planning for that last touch. So I picked 9 seconds because um, if you look at the goal Maradona scored against England in '86 World Cup, he took the ball at center field and pretty much dribbled through the whole team. I think they called the goal of the century, which I did mention in the book. It took about 9 seconds for him to score that goal. So I just said, 9 seconds sounds catchy. Could have been 10, 11. Most goals, it's those last 2 or 3 seconds. What's going on in the mind of the player 9 seconds before an opportunity develops, and that's why I picked.